Hey everyone, just wanted to give you a quick heads up. The second Global Product Owner Summit is coming soon. You can get all the details at bit.ly/Product Owner 2024. That's bit.ly/Product Owner 2024. And it's all lowercase, all one word. Oh, and stick with us until the end of the episode to know the dates and the tracks that we have for you in this year's summit. But for now, let's dive into today's episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Team Tuesday. This week we have with us Tom Baldwin. Hey, Tom. Welcome back.
Thank you, Vasco. Lovely to see you again.
Likewise. So Tuesday is, of course, Team Tuesday. We'll talk about teams in a minute. But before we go there, share with us, what was the book that most inspired you in your career as a Scrum Master?
Well, I can actually show it to you. I appreciate our listeners won't be able to see it, but I've got it I used to get books in paper format. It's been a little while since I've done that. I think I've got something like 650 books in my collection now, 50 paper books, 200 audibles, and a lot of Kindles and stuff like that. But yeah, this one is called the Scrum Field Guide, Practical Advice for the First Year. And this was sort of the main book I read. It's by Mitch Lacey, and it starts each chapter with a little story, a little sort of business fable, if you like. So it's very approachable, very, very readable. And it sort of goes through all the typical anti-patterns you might see. Maybe somebody who can't make their mind up if they're a product owner or a Scrum Master, and they're sliding between the two, or teams who can't do a stand-up properly, like we've ever seen that before, or daily Scrum that doesn't quite work, or so it sort of ticks all the boxes, and I think it really gives you an expectation about what good looks like and what the typical anti-patterns you'll see on your travels. But
do you remember a particular anti-pattern that you read in the book, and then when you faced in real life, you went Mitch was right?
Oh, well, I've got a Post-it note stuck in the top of it. Yes, it's decomposing stories and tasks. He tells a story where, this isn't actually a made-up one. He went and he met at a conference. He met Ron Peterson, who was kind enough to explain. There they were thinking, look, they're trying to fit work into a month. How can anybody do that? We need 6 weeks. And Ron was saying, no, what you want to be doing is 1 week. What? Are you not hearing me, Ron? We can't do it in 6 weeks. We need, they said, no, you break the work down. And he goes through, it happened because obviously in those days, it wouldn't have been on Jira or something like that. It was Post-it notes, and they happened to pull out their pocket and have a little elastic band. They take them off and it goes through. And he shows them that they're making the work far more complicated than it is by not really just breaking it down to small enough chunks and fitting the work to the time available. So it's often, I take that story out and I use it. I've got various different means of breaking work down and trying to decomplexify seemingly complex stuff that actually, when you know the way to approach it, it's the right tool for the job. It can really help make things a lot simpler when we all have that shared understanding of what we're trying to achieve and how to go about it. So
yeah, absolutely. And slicing work is an incredibly important technique to have. There's an episode that is either come out now or coming out shortly with Anton. I'll put the link in the show notes where we discuss how to slice work, and as you said, we need to have different ways in how to slice work down so that we can help teams, right? Like as you said, fitting the work to the time available.
Yes,
not the other way around.
Yeah, and we want them to know not only know these techniques, but be able to teach them to their teammates, and then spread the knowledge, by osmosis throughout the entire business is what we want to be trying to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, now we turn our attention to the teams whom we want to help with techniques like this, slicing work. But sometimes despite our help, and sometimes even because of our help, they get into bigger troubles. And we want to understand these patterns that develop over time. They can start as like small things, but then over time they grow and eventually become big problems for the team. So share one of those stories with us, Tom.
Well, it's an interesting one. It's a few years ago. I was working at a place that managed a lot of data. So I won't say the type of the nature of the data, but they managed and processed data. And they have a little application, I think an old Windows tool. And I had joined as a Scrum Master. It's one of my early outings, and I was taking over from the incumbent Scrum Master, who was kind of the leader, the manager of the team. And I did the usual thing of see how they behave by themselves first of all before thinking of making any changes or bring to them some new ideas. And what really became very obvious to me, I remember we had the way they were doing things. The existing Scrum Master was sitting people down in the room. I remember those data. It was a refectory. So there was a big screen up on the wall behind us with, I think, Philip Schofield, BBC daytime television talking, and with that, you can't hear her. We can't hear what's going on. We don't know what's going on. And she's really going around and just grilling them. She's scribbling down. She was making herself the conduit through which all information and knowledge had to flow and all decisions had to be made by her, you see. And there were one or two other, shall we say, little unusual ways of doing things. And so she was kind enough to go on holiday for 2 weeks. See which time? Oh, brilliant. So I got to meet the team individually, got to chat with them, and we sort of found a lot of the stuff while she was away. I remember one of the developers came to me. She was a Eastern European lady, and she went and she was going, "Oh, yeah, it's done. The QA has got this wrong." And I said, "Well, he's just over there. Go and have a chat with him." I said, "Huh?" And she turned on her heel and sort of went to it. And it turns out this QA guy is a lovely, lovely fellow. He's like such an affable, approachable guy. And they got on like a house so well that they actually chose to sit next to each other ultimately. And so when the previous Scrum Master came back, the manager, she was, oh, they are talking to one another. She'd never seen these sorts of interactions before. That really wasn't the end of it, because she sort of didn't want to give up. She could see progress. She could see people getting on. The fix so many little issues, help the team to understand how to break work down into manageable chunks, in the early days to be able to fit the work to the time available, all these sorts of things. But even so, there are issues that just kept surfacing, and she'd be trying to snatch back control. And ultimately, I had to have a word with her manager and get her moved out, who found a sideways move for her for an interim period of time. And she actually took all these sorts of problems with her. She started bossing them around and telling them what to do and all this sort of behaviors. And I did warn my manager that this might happen. Anyway, so we got the team fixed. We got them, so they're like the best team in the company, almost sort of level. And then she came back and I think we built up a strong enough team so that they could handle themselves now. And so they, when she tried all these same antics, she said, "Look, they said, no, this is not a feudal system. You are not the top of the." So but she was still like jumping to her feet. She was only a small lady and she was jumping to her feet. And so I had a word with the team. Said, "Look, if she jumps to her feet when we're all sitting down trying to do a retrospective or something, we all stand up." So, try and force her to pick one. But it was an ongoing, never-ending battle.
Standing up sounds like a Monty Python sketch. Imagine this, it's like all standing down, all sitting down, all standing up, all sitting down. That sounds like a Monty Python sketch. So this is a very interesting pattern, and one that I'm sure many of us have seen happening in practice, where managers are they feel responsible, perhaps, but also comfortable with control. And because they feel responsible, they want to make sure everything works. And many people have this idea that if it's not in my head, it's not working. So I need to know everything, right? Yes. And of course, that doesn't scale. If you have a team of more than 2 people, it's already too much to keep in your own head. So when you think about this pattern where there's an overbearing Scrum Master or manager that wants to be in control of everything, what do you think Scrum Masters can do to, in the best of cases, help that person get rid of that anti-pattern? But, if not in the best case, the next second best would be to help the team gain that confidence that you helped this team with and really accept that the manager is like that, but not really fall into that pattern.
I have to be, I'm being totally, maybe I should put this as my failure story, but, this is one of those things. I don't think I ever found the perfect solution to this problem. I mean, I'd like
But you were able to help the team kind of take independence. How did you do that?
I had to, I hate the word politics, but it's one of the wastes of our time, isn't it? Really, a lot of the time, the only thing that politics is better than is out and out warfare, isn't it? Really, let's be honest about it. I had to go and speak. I spoke straight up to my manager, who's an Australian lady, and she thought, well, can't you do it differently? I was thinking, well, no, Agile is all about self-organizing teams, isn't it? If she won't let the team organize itself, we're never going to progress. And so I had to speak to her manager. And I think, I really shouldn't have had, to be doing that. I mean, I was there showing, you always think, as human beings, we always like to think of ourselves as logical, reasonable people, don't we? But I'd shown the evidence. I'd shown things getting better. I'd shown improvement. And yet, in an instant, the person in question was getting irritable again. I was having one-to-one chats with this person. We'd go out and drink coffees, and I like her. To this day, I still like the person. But, I don't know. It's just a case of buying some time. That's what I had to do, is get a not sideways move, not push it to one side. And I was hoping that the manager would see, look, she needs somebody at a more senior level to be telling her, look, come on, you can do better than this. You're a good person. You've got some great skills, but not like this. This isn't the way to go about it. This is not going to get the good results. So I'm sorry, Vasco. I'm still shrugging my shoulders.
I would take one of those things that you just said as definitely a great tip, which is find that person somebody that can help them. Ideally, a coach. Right? It does not need to be an agile coach, just a leadership management coach would do, because this is a leadership management problem. Then the other thing I would do, which we talked about on Monday, is to help this person understand that it's not what you do as a person that makes the team succeed. It's the systems that we put in place that ensure the team cannot fail, and in the best case, of course, wildly succeed. On Monday, you talked about the burnt toast problem. And when we see problems, we shouldn't ask what person is the problem. We should ask what process is the problem, because the process always overpowers the people within that system, right? As Deming used to say, a bad person will beat a bad process will beat a good person every day, right? And I think that's an important reflection, because in this case, it was clearly something about how to relate to a team and how to act as a leader, right? And maybe a coach would help there.
Yeah, I think part of the problem, though, it's to do with the hierarchy, the perceived hierarchy. These days, a Scrum Master is pretty much, not. If you read the Scrum Guide, the Scrum Master should be wandering in, knocking on the CEO's door, going, "Hello, it's me again." You should just be able to wander around the whole organization. But it's very much not that way of doing it. If we think of SAFe, we've got an RTE, haven't release train engineer. We've got that sort of level above. We've got agile coaches. We've got all this sorts of things. So I think part of the problem could be perception, is that people don't, well, you're not senior enough to tell me or give me advice, but we do want people to choose their own coaches, don't we? So we've got to help them see that there is a problem here to be fixed. I mean, that's part of it, isn't it?
Perception. Absolutely. And then give them the support to that fix working. Absolutely.
But I'd shown the team became the best team in the company. And you could see, I know, lies and metrics and statistics and all that sort of stuff. But it became the best. The mood of the team had improved, everything. And she was still like, you think, you can't do any better than this, and still not good enough, you think, oh, goodness me.
But that's it. And that's the difficult part of being a Scrum Master and Agile coach, is that we do have to help these people. Sometimes people are not rational in their decision making, and that's perfectly okay. We can't expect people to be rational all the time either. Tom, thank you very much for sharing this story.
Thanks, Vasco.
Hi there, Agile friends. Thank you for sticking around and listening to the details of the Product Owner Summit, this year's global summit dedicated to a critical Scrum role, the product owner role, of course. We'll have some amazing keynotes and 4 tracks filled with first-hand stories and experiences for product owners to learn more about that critical Scrum role. The summit will take place between April 23rd and 25th, so book your calendars. There will be loads of sessions for you to attend. One of the keynotes will be Dave West, the product owner and CEO at Scrum.org, one of the largest Scrum organizations in the world. If you want to know more, check out the details at bit.ly/product owner 2024. That's all one word, all lowercase, bit.ly/product owner 2024. We will also have 4 tracks. The 4 tracks will cover cross-functional product ownership. That's track 1. As Pixar's Ratatouille said, not every idea can be a great idea, but a great idea can come from anywhere. And this quote emphasizes the importance of a product owner being open to all ideas, regardless of the source, and also challenges us to focus on getting good ideas from everywhere and involving the whole team in the product owner role and responsibilities. The second track is Designing Products for Growth, where we explore how to craft products ready for scalable growth, merging practical strategies with innovation. The idea here is to learn to design products for growth, whether it is sales or customer acquisition. The third track is Know Your Users, user-centric approaches for Agile development. In this track, we learn to master user-centric techniques in Agile development, to deeply understand customer needs and transform insights into meaningful UX designs that focus on engagement and satisfaction. This is a track ideal for innovation-focused Agile teams. And the fourth track, one of the most exciting tracks in my opinion, is product development with AI, ideas for product owners. Not only do we discuss about using AI in the products, but also AI for product owners to learn to make a bigger impact with the help of the AI tools that we already have. The Product Owner Summit will also present to you great opportunities to network with your peers. So get your ticket and join our Slack. You can get the ticket and join the Slack at bit.ly/product owner 2024. As always, we have free tickets and also the paid tickets that help to support this podcast. So check them out at bit.ly/product owner 2024. That's all lowercase, all one word, product owner 2024. I'll see you in the summit floor.